Backdoor Roth IRA, it's a great strategy, okay, but there are two big problems with it. You can navigate them, you've got to be aware though. So I've got those two problems and how to overcome them coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Credit to Michael Kitz's Nerd's Eye View for this content today. It's planning work that we do at our firm all the time, but heard Michael speak about this just recently, and I hadn't done a video directly related to these two complications with the Backdoor Roth strategy and how you overcome them. So, going to link the article that's going to give you all the nerdy stuff from Michael himself down below, and then we'll reference a little bit. But the Backdoor Roth strategy, this is a fantastic strategy. You could call it a loophole in the tax system where folks that maybe otherwise wouldn't be eligible to contribute dollars directly into a Roth IRA can do a two-step process. Contribute money to a IRA, even if you make too much money or whatever, you don't need to deduct it, okay? As long as you have earned income and not earned like pension or interest or something, but wage income, paycheck money, okay? As long as you have paycheck money, if you're not eligible to deduct that contribution to your IRA because you make too much and also have access to a retirement plan through your own employer, you can then take that after-tax money that you contributed to your IRA and convert it into your Roth IRA. So it's a two-step process. Put money into your IRA, not deduct it, and then convert it to your Roth IRA. It used to be way back then that if you made too much money, you weren't able to do a Roth conversion. And listen, after the great financial crisis, 2010, the IRS said, we're lifting that. We need as much tax revenue as we can. So I don't care what tax bracket you're in, go ahead and pay tax on it and convert it to a Roth. Thank you very much. We'll take your tax revenue. So this is a loophole to that because there's no tax revenue with this because you never deducted the IRA contribution and then you convert it to the Roth. Now you got money basically into a Roth IRA via a two-step process instead of a direct contribution. That, in a nutshell, is the Backdoor Roth IRA strategy. I'm not going to get into all the details. That's a surfacey view. I've always told you, anytime we talk about the Backdoor Roth, you've got to be working with a certified financial planner who's doing comprehensive financial planning because they're going to be aware of the tax issues. There's lots of issues regarding, we'll get into it, okay? Because it essentially underscores two main problems when you're doing the Backdoor Roth strategy, okay? First one, I've done videos directly about this one, but that is the IRA Aggregation Rules, okay? It becomes messy. So let me just give an illustration. If you have an IRA over here that is worth $100,000, either because you contributed and deducted a long time ago, or maybe this is an old 401k that you then rolled over to an IRA so that you could invest it differently and had more control over those dollars instead of having them stay at an old 401k. So you've got $100,000 of money, of IRA money that's never been taxed. I think logically you'd think, well, I want to do this Backdoor Roth strategy. And I'm not going to deduct my contribution because I can't. So I'll open a separate IRA, a second IRA. I will contribute my $6,000 into that IRA, the second one, and I won't deduct it. And then once I do that, I'll then move that $6,000 from this second IRA. I'll move that one over to the Roth IRA and then leave this one alone, okay? And that won't be taxable. Can't do that. The IRS looks and says, no, your total pre-tax, post-tax ratio is aggregated from all of your IRAs, whether you've got 2, whether you've got 7, whether you've got 17. All of it is aggregated. So you're not able to just take your after-tax contribution that you made over to this separate IRA and convert that only. When that happens, you're going to have to take your CPA when they do your tax return and filling out your 8606. They're going to take a look and say, okay, what's the ratio? How much after-tax money do you have total compared to your entire balances of all your IRAs? And then, okay, you moved $6,000 over from your IRAs into a Roth, proportionately how much of that was pre-tax and Roth. And listen, if you have a pre-tax account of $100,000 and then you put $6,000 of after-tax dollars, that ratio is going to be a lot. The majority, 90-some% of that conversion is going to be taxable to you, which wasn't your original intent. So that's the IRA aggregation rules. And this is why oftentimes if you've got a large IRA out there, even if you meet the other sort of criteria that the backdoor Roth would make sense, you probably shouldn't do it. It gets really, really messy commingling after-tax and pre-tax money in IRAs and then trying to convert it. It's very, very messy. So how do you get around that? Well, one, recognize this strategy early before you have a bunch of pre-tax money, because maybe you shouldn't have pre-tax at all and you should convert the whole thing. And that's sort of the second strategy. What if you've got $20,000 in IRAs and you take a look with your CFP right now and say, you know what, let's convert all of that. And then we won't have any more pre-tax IRA, and then we can just continue to do this backdoor Roth, okay? Another strategy, and I wouldn't recommend this flippantly, but that is to transfer your IRA, your pre-tax IRA, into your 401k if it allows. Now the danger with that is, well, you're limited in what your investment choices are and what your access is to your 401k. But moving the money, rolling the money from an IRA into your 401k now means your basis in your IRA, or you don't have any basis in your IRA. You don't have any pre-tax money in your IRA. It's now all cleaned up. Now, that you've got to weigh your pros and cons there, but work with your certified financial planner. We've done this lots of times, and folks that have had a messy situation with a few different IRAs, we've cleaned them up. And then lots of times we've looked and said, nah, it's not worth it. There are benefits to the backdoor Roth, but what you'd give up over here isn't worth it. Let's ignore that for now. So that's the first problem, the IRA aggregation rules. The second problem is something called the step transaction doctrine, okay? Very confusing, but it essentially is interpreted to mean there needs to be multiple steps in doing this this backdoor Roth, okay? It can't be considered, it can't be interpreted, it can't be visible, it can't be seen that you're taking multiple steps and really condensing them really into one. Because again, the IRS, if they wanted you to be able to do a direct Roth contribution, even though you make too much money or don't meet the criteria, then they would just change those rules, but they haven't done so yet. They still have allowed this loophole, and the step transaction doctrine is basically saying, well, you need to make sure that there are multiple steps here. You can't just condense them all into one step. And this one's interesting because even though that's what the law says, the IRS provides no direct, clear, objective way of saying, well, this is how you would make sure that there are multiple steps. You could argue, well, Mike, I mean, what's wrong with you? Of course it's multiple steps. You put the money in the IRA, and then you move that, convert it from the IRA to the Roth. That's multiple steps, okay? A lot of financial professionals have interpreted this to say, no, you've got to have a certain amount of time pass in between. Some financial professionals say, listen, you've got to contribute to that IRA and leave the money there for a month. After it's there for a month, then you can convert it. Some say 6 months. Some say wait at least a year to prove that, listen, I made this contribution to my IRA, and then later I decided to convert it to my Roth, okay? Problem is the IRS has given us no a clear objective standard for saying, yep, I satisfied this kind of step transaction doctrine, or I didn't, okay? A lot, and I would say the majority of financial professionals feel that, well, I put the money in and then I moved it to the Roth. That's multiple steps. Good enough. We'll see what the IRS comes out and later eventually says. But work with your certified financial planner. If you're concerned and worried about this, talk to them about how you should or could satisfy this step transaction doctrine. So that's the two major problems, major issues to be aware of when it comes to the backdoor Roth. Now, there's obviously more at play, whether this strategy even makes sense for you. Even though it's got a snazzy name, you've probably heard about it a lot, does it even make sense for your situation? And that's really the root of comprehensive financial planning, that creativity that your certified financial planner could bring, and then helping you make sure that you avoid these two problems, or if you're not going to be able to avoid them, maybe determine, listen, it's not the right strategy for you. So work with your certified financial planner. I am not sure how an investment advisor who never looks at your taxes and has no idea what's going on, how they could ever recommend a backdoor Roth or a Roth conversion, period. Okay? A tax preparer alone who has no idea what accounts you're funding and for what reason, I also have no idea how they'd be able to recommend a backdoor Roth or Roth conversion. The point is, a wise approach to your financial life is having a CFP that is doing comprehensive financial planning, working with these multiple professionals saying, hey, what strategies should we consider here? And then of those different strategies, which ones brings synergy to as many areas of your financial life as possible? That's who you want on your team, that certified financial planner. If you have one, great. If you don't, contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com, that's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com, you can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.